Hi everyone, and I decided to give you a little tour around my photography studio at home. I will show you all my stuff that I have here, and I will show you the type of photography that I am doing recently. So let's get to it. So a few of you might know me from my film photography experiments and all the stuff that I reviewed and filmed on my channel, but quite recently I switched from doing film photography to mainly digital, and pretty much to mainly one subject, well, two subjects. So one is my family, which is every one of us is doing, and the second one is fitness photography. So my wife is running a little business of hers where she provides a fitness training online via Zoom, and every now and then she needs a little photography here and there for Instagram or for Facebook ads. And since I can hold the camera and I accumulated all that kind of lighting setup throughout the years, I stepped up to help her. So, and basically I started with really video lights that I'm using right now, and basically all my lights is maybe the cheapest option out there, though reliable. It's a Godox, and those are Godox SL60W. So those continuous light sources, and those are not really powerful for any kind of a photography, but if you really don't want to kind of blow up a photo, then they would do. They would do for Instagram or maybe for a Facebook ad, and I've done something with them. And even for light modifiers, for color modifiers, I would use colorful filters, so that's not even a proper gels. I kind of have a proper gels right now. So since we are already talking about the equipment, let me start. So after finishing a first photo shoot with a continuous lights, I decided to invest in strobes, and I also bought strobes from Godox. Those are Godox SK400. And those are pretty good lights to get the job done. And at the beginning I didn't even have a flash trigger, so I would use a little pop-up flash on my Fuji camera just to trigger them. And sometimes this flash wouldn't kind of hit all the receivers, and then not all flashes will trigger. Well, I only have two lights, and then I decided to invest in the proper transmitter, and I bought this thingy from Godox as well. So, I'm kind of a Godox fanboy, if you will, but I think I like that, like I said, I'm using Godox lights for continuous lights, and they never let me down, so I decided to kind of continue with the journey, and I also didn't want to invest a lot of money in it. So the second important piece of equipment that I get is that I got some stands for the backdrop, and I actually have two kinds of a backdrop. There's a white that you see right now and the black, and that allows me to do the variety of shots. And the fabric backdrop is a pain in the neck, and you actually have a lot of wrinkles, but paper is a lot more expensive. I think it's a lot harder to ship, and then it's a lot heavier, so I don't even think that setup would hold it. And maybe at some point I will invest in paper backdrop, but for now, for what I'm doing, the fabric backdrop works just fine. Only one piece of information. So I am standing on kind of a slippery floor, and if I don't want my models to kind of slip around my studio, I actually put some special material that you usually would put underneath the carpet so that it's not slippery, and that actually helps a lot. So also I acquired throughout the years a bunch of light modifiers. So I have this Godox softbox. I think it's 60 centimeters, 90 centimeters, and with the grid. So this is why I'm kind of lit, but everything behind me is not really. And then I also have the bigger one, Godox. It's I think it's 1 meter 20 centimeters, and it's more narrow kind of thingy. And then I also have some other stuff that I really use, and it's not everything from Godox. It's this other company that is on Amazon here in Germany that I tend to buy, and it's just a Chinese stuff that actually does a pretty good job. And all of them come with this Bowden type of adapter, and both my light systems actually use the same kind of mount. So my continuous lights use the same Bowden mount, and also my strobes use the very same type of mount. And since that's the like fitness kind of a photography, sometimes you need to create this color contrast, and I really started with those you know, semi-transparent folders. They colorful, the blue and the red one, but then I invested in gels. Those gels maybe not like a best quality out there, you know, for example, the one that you see over there that I tend to use like a lot for my videos, it's kind of like got a little bended, it doesn't really hold heat pretty well, but then I think it also might have to do something with that my misusing it actually, so maybe I need to invest in some kind of like a light modifier that would hold it a little bit further away from the light source, and it will not heat up that much. And this is the first part of the video, pretty basic setup for the shooting, right? And if you have some ideas for me or some questions, just drop them down below in the comment section. I will make sure to answer all the questions. And now we are going to relocate to my home office down the stairs when I actually do like processing and stuff. So what do we got here? In my room you might have noticed like a little bit less echo, because this is basically my usual filming environment that I film for some other channels that I run. But basically that's my, you know, main workstation. So this is like just an IKEA desk, just like with the crank, so like to put it up and down. And when I tend to sit for longer, so my muscles in legs like contract, and then when I lay down to sleep I have some seizures in my legs again, so I decided to be standing like a lot longer, but that's like a maybe topic for a different kind of video. So basically, as you can see here, I have like a ultra wide screen monitor, and like everything is going to be in the description below. And I found that ultra wide monitors are really useful for media stuff and not so useful for programming that I used to be doing. So for programming I would be doing like a totally different setup, but since I switched to a management track, I'm not doing a lot of programming these days, and I'm basically using this setup mostly for video editing and photography editing. And another very important part of my setup is lighting, and up until recently, for almost a year now, I've been using this BenQ screen bar. This is kind of light that you put up top your display and plug it to your USB power, and using the sensor buttons you can turn it on and off. You can switch the mode so that it works in automatic fashion, and also there's like a temperature and light intensity controllers. I didn't use it in like automatic fashion because my display doesn't provide sufficient power, so when it would decide to go all the way up to like light intensity, it would just shut down, and I would need to unplug it and plug it back in to power cycle it. There is no like a reset button. That's why I decided not to use this automatic adjustments. And it's actually quite a good light, and if for like a one strip of LEDs it would pretty much cover the whole desk area. It actually creates like a harder shadows, and I didn't really like it, but that's just like a matter of taste, I guess. So then BenQ contacted me and sent me this lamp to try out and to review, and I've been using it for a month now exclusively, and I can tell you what my thoughts about that. It's actually a better light, I guess, than this one. So it has like more LEDs, and it just spreads the light more evenly, and I think the lighting spot is a little bit bigger, and also the shadows are not that hard, they're like a lot softer. It takes a little bit space, you know, on your desktop, so if you're really limited in space, that might not work for you. It also has like all the regulations in the light intensity and the light temperature, and I, you know, use it every now and then. And it also has like this sensor ring here to turn it on and off. And obviously it doesn't have this problem with my display not being able to power it, because I just plug it into the wall, but then it also doesn't have this automatic light adjustment situation, so it wouldn't be an issue anyway. There is one little caveat in this one compared to this one, I guess, is that it is a bit closer to my forehead, and when I'm sitting like this to my display, I actually start feeling the heat with my forehead, and I wouldn't say it causes any trouble. So that's just like something that I noticed, being like aware of what I'm doing. I'm just like, why am I, feeling heat with my forehead? And it's just touch this one. So right now it is almost like my body temperature, but when it runs throughout the day, it gets a bit hotter, and when it's hotter outside, basically this thing also gets a bit hotter. So this is something to watch out, I guess, if you decide to choose this one. But overall, both of them are actually great lights, and this one I bought with my own money, this one BenQ sent to me, and I can recommend using both. I just like this one more because it looks so awesome on the video. I can't deny that. So it has like this presentation effect, though this one has like a conversation starter when everyone is looking at this. But that's just like my things. Overall, if you don't shoot video and you just need a good lamp, like this is for you. Or you can also pick this one if you have like a limited space on your desk. And for the bulk of my photo editing work, I'm using Apple Trackpad, and also I sometimes use this Wacom tablet when I actually need to do some kind of more fine adjustments with the pen. And also when I don't need that kind of fine control, I tend to use a trackball. I kind of like think about my hands more than I get older, and mouse is not really doesn't cut in it. And also what you might see on my desk is my fancy keyboard that I actually built myself, and it's a split keyboard, and it helps me to position my arms naturally, not like so, so that my wrists are not pinched, so to speak, and it's just more natural position, and allows me to work in a more ergonomic environment. And also with that, I actually could put like my trackpad in the middle of it, right the way it would be in my notebook. And this is basically where I do the bulk of my photography work, so like upstairs in the studio, and then here at my office, like actually processing the photographs. If you have any questions, feel free asking them down below, and I would like to thank you for watching this video. Thank you BenQ for sending me this slide for a review, and I see you in the next one. Bye.